Hi, this is Anthony Oceanero, Communication 101 with Mr. Horace, and I'm giving my informative speech today on the care of domesticated rats, and this is my audience. Alright, today's topics we're going to be going over are the difference between wild and domesticated rats, their diet, their health and their treats, why do they bite you, and how many rats should you have, their housing arrangements, and their breeding. The most common domesticated rat is the fancy rat, which is the common domesticated brown rat. Fancy rat comes from the phrase to fancy, which means to like or appreciate. Fancy rats existed in the 18th century and were used for both sport and for pets. Domesticated rats are psychologically and physically different from their wild relatives. They pose no more of a health risk than your other common household pets. Rat catchers in the 18th and 19th century would catch rats throughout Europe and use them in a sport called rat baiting, which involved filling a pit with rats and making bets on how long the terrier would take to kill them all. Of course, today that would be considered inhumane, as with dogfighting. The most apparent difference that sets wild rats apart from the domesticated rats is their coloring. Most wild rats are brown in color, though it is rare to have a color mutation in the wild. Domesticated rats range anywhere from white all the way to blue. Behaviorally, domesticated rats are more tamer than wild rats and more comfortable around humans and have been known to seek out their owners while roaming freely. Fancy rats are more willing to try new foods and have better tolerance over crowding, also known to mate earlier and live a longer lifespan. And I'm just going to hold one of our 5 rats up and let you see their different personalities and how social and loving and gentle they are. This is Prince William. He's about a year old, and this is his half brother over here. This is Prince Harry. He's a little bit more shy, but he's like a big lug, and we're trying to make him real fat. And these are our 2 girls right here. This is Lady Stella and Lady Blanche. And somewhere over here is Victor. If you notice, we have to keep the females separated from the males. I just have them up here as an example to show you. Next, I'm going to be talking about how many rats should a person actually get. And the answer is simple. Rats are highly sociable animals and need the company and social structure for health and happiness. Rats crave interaction and stimulation that can only be received from another rat. That's why you never ever want to buy 1 rat. You always want to get at least 2 so they have a companion. Life as a single rat is not only lonely, but your rat can actually run the risk of psychological and physical health problems. Many people wonder if they get a single rat, that means that their bond would be more stronger. This in fact is false. Your rat can lose his or her confidence and become shy and always hide. Rats in groups are more happier and ready for your love and affection. Next we'll be going over biting and nibbling, which is, I think, one of the most common reasons why someone is afraid to hold a rat. They think they're just going to bite them and they're going to break their skin and then they're going to be ruined for life. But it's actually a lot simpler than that. Rats communicate in many different ways, and one way is with their teeth. Our skin is very sensitive and not protective like the rats. The rats have a bunch of fur, so when they bite each other to taste things, they don't feel it. And rats can easily get misunderstood. So what is your rat telling you when he bites or nibbles you? Gentle nibbling on your skin can mean 2 different things. One thing is they're trying to groom you, or they're testing you to see what you are. And they do that a lot by tasting you. To a new rat, our smells are strange and needs to be explored and tasted. This is inevitable that at some point your personal rat will bite your fingers, but don't be alarmed. And take it as a compliment. It's their way of showing affection, just as primates would pick ticks out of their family in the wild. Next, I'm going to go over the diet, which is a very important factor. And this is what we feed our rats. We just buy it at our local pet store. It's got a mixture of nuts and a lot of different nuts and sunflower seeds and corn. And we also feed them fresh fruits, carrots, grapes, and oranges are their favorites. Now, a variety of nutrition is the basis for maintaining good health. Some of these items include a variety of nuts, fruits, and seeds, and that's where we get that from. The most commonly packaged food for rats contain only mixed grains and nuts and can be purchased at your local pet store. They are not recommended because they are high in fat, which I should kind of hit myself because this is what we're feeding them right now. But as long as you feed it in small portions and the majority of their diet is fresh fruits and vegetables, they can burn off the calories. As you see, they're very active. However, you can use this. That's what I just wanted to do. Also, try and find packaged foods that are higher in soy opposed to corn, which are not only going to be more expensive, but they're a lot rarer to find. They also have lab blocks, which are used in a lot of scientific experiments, but those are also very hard to find. And you want to use a lot of fresh vegetables and fruits as well in that diet. Though the average lifespan of a rat is only, sadly, 2 to 4 years, it's still important to maintain a healthy diet. Next, we're going to go over snacks and treats, because who doesn't like snacks and treats? So, rats love treats just as your dog would. When feeding your rat, give them as much as it can be consumed in a 24-hour period to maintain freshness and monitor the portion size. And here in the cage, this is what we use for the food bowl. We fill it up probably, I say, once a day. We got 3 adult males living in this cage, and they can finish this in a day. And females have the same size in here, and I say every 2 days we can fill this up. And for the fresh fruit that we cut up, we just put it right along the little levels right here. And they eat that whenever they feel like it. Rats like your dog do like to hide their treats, so it's recommended to investigate their hiding places for secret stashes. This is one of their little huts that they like to hide under. And since when you go to pet your rat, you're not going to look everywhere, you're just going to pick them up. So they do like to hide things over here, and the reason why you want to look for it is because if you put a piece of fruit in there, and days earlier it could be rotten, and they may eat that and get sick. Of course, with any animal, an unhealthy snack is okay in moderation. Unhealthy snacks include anything containing salt, sugar, or fat, which you just want to use your common sense. You don't want to give your rat pizza or a cookie. Next, I'm going to talk about their housing, which, as you can see, we have 3 different cages. The top cage is for the females, bottom cage is for the males, and this is just our temporary holding cage for things like this. Your rats spend most of their lives in a house that you make them, so get this right and you will be rewarded with confident, active, healthy, friendly rats. A good rule of thumb is to allow your rats at least 2 cubic feet per rat, which we obviously have bigger cages than that because we have the room for it, so why not? A smaller cage in the beginning is recommended for your pond because there are less places for them to hide. This is what we originally had for our first 2 rats, which were Prince William and Prince Harry, and they did just fine in there. The only reason we updated was because we wanted them to have one home. Wire cages with multiple levels ensure ventilation and are perfect. You'll be able to climb and see the world around them. As you can see, not only do they have the ventilation from inside, but they have the wind coming in from the window. One thing you do want to watch out for is some wire cages also have wire bottoms, and this could be dangerous because they can get their claws stuck in there. And if you're not home when that happens, they can break a foot. What type of bedding should you use when you buy your cage? We tend to use either shredded paper, cardboard, hay, or straw. But what we've come to find that works better is the shredded wood, which you can buy at any of your local pet stores. And it's very compacted, so about a quarter of this will fill up one of these entire cages. Contrary to popular belief, Rats are the least smelly of all the rodents. They spend a good portion of the day cleansing themselves. Though they do cleanse themselves, it is recommended to give them a bath. In doing so, you should use warm water and fragrance-free gentle soap. And of course, you want to pat them dry. Always keep males and females separated so there are no unwanted breeding occurs, which we have remembered here. Females on top, males on the bottom. They're water bowls and they're water dishes. This is what we use. It's hard plastic, so the rats can't bite into it. And we also have water bottles made out of glass. A lot of people also like to use water bowls, which I don't recommend because they could become saturated with feces or urine, or their bedding can get washed in there and they can drink that and they can get sick. And the water bottles are actually easier to maintain and clean. Breeding rats, which I highly discourage, because when a female rat gets pregnant, she could have anywhere up to 20 babies in pregnancy. And unless you have a big demand for them, or someone you know has snakes and demands them for feeding purposes, it can overpower your house. You have to be careful not to mate siblings if you do go ahead and mate, because a lot of deformities can happen. And in conclusion, rats make excellent pets for adults and children and are loyal, intelligent companions. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.